These are Ogoh-Ogoh, one of Bali's most unique traditions, and they play a vital role in welcoming the Balinese New Year, otherwise known as Nyepi. These terrifying figures are not meant to scare people, they are meant to cleanse them. This is the story of Ogoh-Ogoh. When people think of Ogoh-Ogoh, they often imagine a tradition stretching back centuries. It's easy to see why. The figures depict demons from Balinese Hindu mythology. They're deeply connected to religious ceremonies, and they've become inseparable from Nyepi, Bali's Hindu New Year. Yet, the Ogoh-Ogoh parade as we know it today only emerged in the late 1970s and early 1980s. In fact, the tradition only became widespread after 1983, when Nyepi was officially recognised as a national public holiday in Indonesia. With more public attention on the celebration, Balinese communities, especially local youth groups known as Seka Taruna, began constructing increasingly elaborate giant figures to parade through their villages on the night before Nyepi. Within just a few years, a brand new tradition had become one of Bali's defining cultural symbols. One inspiration for Ogoh-Ogoh came from lelekut, simple straw figures placed in rice fields to protect crops from pests and negative spiritual influences. Another came from the towering ceremonial figures used during Nyaban, Bali's elaborate cremation ceremony. And perhaps most importantly, the tradition of Nalawang, where sacred barong figures travel through villages to cleanse communities of harmful spirits and restore spiritual balance. Rather than inventing something entirely new, Balinese communities blended these older traditions into a spectacular public procession that reflected both ancient beliefs and modern creativity. The word Ogoh-Ogoh is believed to come from the Balinese expression of Ogoh-Ogoh, meaning to sway or to shake. If you've ever watched an Ogoh-Ogoh parade, the connection becomes obvious. Groups of people deliberately rock, spin and shake the giant figures from side to side, making them appear almost alive. The movement transforms an immobile sculpture into something that feels like a living creature. Before the name Ogoh-Ogoh became common, these creations were often called Ongkokan. The earliest known published use of the term Ogoh-Ogoh appeared in a Balinese newspaper in March 1984, and the name quickly became the standard used across the island. Most Ogoh-Ogoh represent Bhutakala. To outsiders, these creatures might simply look like terrifying demons, but within Balinese Hindu philosophy, their meaning is far more complex. The word Bhuta referring to the forces of nature, and Kala meaning time. Together, Bhutakala symbolizes the chaotic energies and destructive forces that exist throughout the universe and within ourselves. They are not embodiments of pure evil. Instead, they represent imbalance, greed, anger, fear, and the uncontrolled forces that every person must confront. That is why Ogoh-Ogoh are intentionally grotesque. Their frightening appearance gives form to the negativity people hope to leave behind before the new year begins. Each village or youth group spends weeks or even months designing and constructing them. Every detail from their expressions to their poses is carefully crafted to make them as intimidating as possible. In recent years, artists have even incorporated modern themes, creating Ogoh-Ogoh inspired by politicians, environmental issues, or popular culture while maintaining the traditional message. Ogoh-Ogoh appeared during Pangrupakan, the evening before Nyepi, Bali's Day of Silence and the Balinese Hindu New Year. As night falls, villagers carry their statues through the streets accompanied by the powerful rhythms of Balinese gamelan music. The statues are often spun around at intersections. According to tradition, this confuses wandering spirits, preventing them from finding their way back into the village. The atmosphere is loud, energetic, and almost theatrical, a complete contrast to what follows. For 24 hours, Bali comes to a near-complete standstill. Flights are paused, roads are empty, businesses close, lights are kept to a minimum, and many people spend the day fasting, meditating, and reflecting. The island intentionally embraces silence as a way to reset both spiritually and mentally. After the chaos of the Ogoh-Ogoh parade comes complete peace. It's this contrast that gives the tradition its power. Traditionally, many Ogoh-Ogoh were burned after the parade, symbolizing the destruction of evil and the purification of the community. Today, however, many are preserved and displayed because of the incredible artistic effort involved. Competitions are held across Bali, and some sculptures become famous for their craftsmanship and creativity. And that is the tradition of Ogoh-Ogoh. What began as a relatively modern addition to Balinese culture has become one of its most powerful and recognizable traditions. Blending art, religion, and community, it continues to grow and evolve with each generation. But at its core, the meaning remains the same: facing chaos, letting go of negativity, and preparing for a fresh start with Nyepi. Thank you for watching.